Hello friends, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to do diff and merge using a tool called meld in Git. And here is the list of items for this tutorial. Let's first begin by installing meld. For this, just type in download meld in Google and click on this first link. meldmerge.org is the website. Here click the link for the download. So I have Windows and I'm going to install using meld installer. Here click on download button and it will begin the download. Okay, so it's downloading the file here. Okay, my download is over and I have this file here, so just double click here to run the installation. Just click on next and install it. My installation is complete and you can see that it put the installation into this C program files meld directory. Okay, so this is where I have this program installed. Now what I'm going to do is show you the Git repository that I have here. I have this C code hungry repository where I have a hungry.py file, and if you look at that file, this is how the file looks, and on GitHub the files looks like this. So basically I have added these two new commits to the file. If you compare these two, you will see these two are the extra lines that I have added, and if I do git log, you will see those two lines were added through this commit. Now let's see how to run git diff tool command to see the difference. So first we are going to see the difference between this upstream, which is GitHub, and our local repository. In order to do that, you have to run git diff tool origin master. Origin master here means GitHub. When you do that, here it is saying that launch VM diff. So we installed meld, but we have not configured meld yet. That's why it is using some default tool that comes with Git installation. If you do yes, then it will show you the difference like this. Now vimdiff looks like a UI from 80s. It looks like DOS. Okay, it shows you the difference that this is the new file, you added these two lines, but it's not, doesn't look very nice, doesn't look modern basically. Okay, and that's the whole reason why we want to use meld. So in order to use meld, first you need to configure it. Now to configure it, you need to go to C users, your directory. So I am learn p user, and here you will find a git config file. If you open git config file, you have only this thing. Okay, now you need to add couple of lines here. So I'm just going to copy paste it from here. So you need to add these three lines in order to configure meld. First line says that for diff you are using a tool called meld. Now what does meld mean? So meld means go to this path and fetch the exe. We previously saw that this is the directory where meld was installed, so you want to supply the same directory name. Okay, and the third one is diff tool prompt false, meaning don't give me this kind of prompt. Whenever I say git diff tool, always launch meld. So let's try this out. Now when I do this, it's gonna launch meld, and meld is a nice looking UI where you see a code on the left side. This is your upstream and this is your local code. Okay, so now here there is an extra line. Okay, so looks like there is some problem. Let me do git pull real quick to pull whatever changes I have on upstream, and it's gonna merge. And when I do git diff tool, now I'll be seeing the correct diff. Okay, so the correct diff, as you can see here, I don't have those two lines, versus in my local file I have these two lines. So let me just arrange my windows so that you can see the difference clearly. Okay, so this is what I have on upstream. So see, this is what I have on upstream. So on the left side, this is GitHub code, this is my local code where you can see these extra 2 lines. Okay, so this is how you see the difference between your local and upstream. Now if you make any further change and let's say you did not commit it, then there is a way to see that change as well. So for example, here now I am adding a new line called and hungry equal to yo. Let's say I add this line, okay, and then when I do git status, I see this file is changed. Now I can just simply run git diff tool. Git diff tool will show the change between your uncommitted changes and your head. So your head doesn't have this and your local changes has that. Okay, so that's why it is showing. Okay, now let's say if you have multiple diff tool installs and you want to launch a specific tool, for example Vim diff. Some people like Vim diff even though it is old. Then to launch that, you can always use -t option and give the name of the tool. -t means tool, Vim diff. So use Vim diff for this one and it will launch Vim diff. You can also use meld. So this way, by giving -t option, you can launch different tools. Okay, now we are going to look into how to resolve conflicts or how to merge conflicts. Okay, so now let me make some changes locally. So locally I have this change, all right, and I'm going to commit this change. So let me just commit this change and I will say added yo. Okay, so this is what I have locally. Now someone else can go to this repository and they can make a change. So let's say they added y. Okay, and I will just say added y. Now what happened is my local repository and my upstream got out of sync. Here I have this stuff, but locally I have hungry equal to yo. So they are at the same location, but they are different code changes. Now when I do git pull, so before pushing the changes, you always want to do git pull so that you can always get the latest copy from the upstream. When I do that, it is telling me now that there is a merge conflict. You see here merge conflict because we both made a change at the same location. Okay, and if you open your file now, it looks really messy. You'll be worried what happened to your file. So what this is saying is your head has this. Head means your local change, but your upstream has this. Now obviously you can manually edit this and you can, let's say, choose which change you want to keep. Let's say you want to keep upstream change, which is this, then you can just remove these lines and manually edit it, but it's not very convenient if you have so many changes. So for that you need to run merge tool. Now before you run merge tool, you have to again configure your merge tool in your git config file, and to configure your merge tool you need to add these 3 lines. Okay, here it is saying that for merge use this tool called meld, and again for the meld we have specified the path so that git knows from where to launch that tool. And also there is an option to not keep backup files. If you keep backup files, it's gonna create so many new files in your code repository and it's gonna confuse you. So I recommend you add this option. All right, once you have added this option in your git config, now I'm going to launch git merge tool. So just run git merge tool command. So remember, you are in a merging stage here, and at that point you are running git merge tool. Okay, so in the middle you're seeing your local file, which is here. See, C code hungry.py. On the left you have your local changes, like before it showed these merge conflicts. These were your changes, and these were changes from the upstream. Now you can decide which change you want to keep. So for example, let's say I like the upstream change and I want to keep it. So you can click on this little arrow here. Okay, once you do that, what it's gonna do is it's gonna remove everything else and keep this one. And if you didn't like that, all right, so let me just close it and cancel it. Okay, close it and say close without saving, and again launch the same command. Basically, let's say I wanted to keep my change instead of upstream change. In that case, you would have clicked this arrow and it will keep your change. Okay, so I can do undo. So you can do undo and do undo, and then you can go to next change. If you have so many changes, you can use these arrows. You can use this save option. There are many useful options in this area. Okay, I decided to use my upstream change, so I'm going to click on this arrow, okay, and hit save and hit cancel. Okay, at this point I have some local changes, so I can just say git commit -m merged conflicts. So I just successfully merged conflicts. Okay, at this stage now my repository status is clear. Now it is master from merging, and I can now push my commit. So when I do push, it's gonna update the upstream, and upstream now has both of these changes, plus it has this new. Okay, so that was all about how to use meld for diffing the changes and also for merging the changes. I have used meld for quite some time. It is very user friendly, so I would recommend you to use the same tool. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.